My name is Joe. 20 years ago, my wife and I moved to Lake County with our 4 young children and settled down. In that time, we've worked, worshiped, played, and raised our family. Today, I've met the people and discovered the businesses and organizations that make up a vibrant, dynamic community. Join us as we share with you what makes South Lake great. I'm Joe, and Joe knows South Lake. And welcome. How you doing today? It is Tuesday and an amazing South Lake morning. I gotta tell you what, I am feeling so much better than I felt yesterday, and I am so glad to have you with us. We have an amazing show today. We're going to talk about bobbleheads today. What's more fun than a bobblehead? I just don't know. We're going to talk about ramping up. You know, we had, thank God it's Monday day yesterday, but we're going to talk a little bit about ramping up in this week in the year for most of you. And Cup of Joe, we're going to continue with setting goals, making sure that your goals for this year are successful. Now, I got a trick to guarantee that your goals this year will succeed, bar none. And finally, we're going to be joined by a dear friend of mine, Anessa Hunt Jones, now Anessa Jones. Friend of mine, just got married, campaign director of the United Way of Lake and Sumter County. So we got a great show. I want to welcome Ms. Doris back to the fold. She'd been traveling and taking care of some business, tying up some loose ends in other places, but she's back with us full time. We're glad to have her in the corner giving me crap. Hope she laughs at me appropriately, gives me perspective. So I just want to say welcome back. I want to say welcome back to you. Hope you're having a good day. Look, we're going to hear from our sponsors. None of it happens without our family of sponsors. We love them to death. So we're going to hear from the sponsors. When we get back, we're going to get started. See you in a minute.
50 West, pre-leasing now in Claremont. A first-of-its-kind commercial development in the Southeast. Contact us today to reserve your spot in this historic development. 50 West, unique, quality, Class A. For more information on leasing, contact Ashley Punn at 407-403-4165. Karen Arlano at 407-948-0767. Or visit lease@50west.com.
Your CBD store Claremont provides a wide range of high-quality, full and broad-spectrum CBD products. Topical creams, tinctures, water solubles, edibles, and even CBD products for your pets. From soil to oil, your CBD store Claremont sources and provides third-party lab tests for all products so that you know exactly what you're getting. Stop by your CBD store Claremont today to speak with one of our knowledgeable staff members to find the right CBD product for you.
Hello, my name is Michael Singh with Singh Insurance and Financial Services. Our goal is to build trust based on a clear understanding of how your insurance policy protects you, your family, and even your business. When was the last time you took a good hard look at your insurance coverage? Would you be open to the possibility of reviewing your policy with me? One review of your policy can save you valuable time and money. Call me today to set up a review of what may be available to you.
And welcome back. You know, I love hearing from our family of sponsors, and I think one of the reasons I love our sponsors so much is they're just like us here at South Lake TV. They're small business people trying to make an impact on a community. We're not talking big, huge corporations who are only concerned about the next 10 cents per unit. We're talking about business people looking to affect the lives of the people they do business with. You know, we talk so much here about touch a life and change the world. And that's what our people are doing. 50 West is providing a gorgeous outlet to do business from. Yes, will they make some money? Of course. But they're being responsible about it, not creating another ugly office building, but creating something beautiful that adds to the skyline and to the view coming down the road into Claremont. That building is a work of art. Your CBD store. These people really are concerned about the pain that you're in and the trouble pharmaceuticals may have provided you, providing an alternative. And finally, my dear friend Mike Singh, somebody during the vacation reached out to me for someone, because Joe knows, right? Joe knows a guy. Reached out to me for somebody who knew property and casualty insurance, and my mind went immediately to Mike. He Singh Financial Services, Insurance and Financial Services, covers all insurance from property and casualty to life, annuities, investments. But here's the thing. He's doing it because he was in the business and he saw people taken advantage of. He couldn't stand the push and grind anymore of some of the larger companies that was just turn it, turn it, turn it. Who cares about the customer? Mike does this because he cares about the customer. He cares about the person doing business with him and making sure that their insurance and their investments are right. It's one of the reasons I love this business. I love our sponsors, is because they're just like us. They're just trying to impact a community and make it better. Okay, I'll step off of my soapbox in about an hour. I guess the whole show's a soapbox, isn't it? Today is National Bobblehead Day. And I think that it's an appropriate, because I know sometimes coming into this time of year, I feel like a bobblehead. Like that everything makes me jiggle all over the place. Bobbleheads, what's more fun than a bobblehead, right? I mean, we know them from sitting on dashboards and other things. They're so fun to play with. I can remember as a kid, I broke one of my grandmother's. And boy, she was mad, I'll tell you what. I think I took a licking for that one. Nobody describes that. Is that PC? Can I say that? Can I say give your kids a licking? It was not fun. It was not fun. But it's Bobblehead Day. Bobbleheads are those things that seem a little weighted. They have a little skinny body and a big head that bounce on a spring. Sometimes it's easy to feel that way, and so for many of us, most of us, we come back to this time of year and any little thing makes us feel like that's what's going on. You want to celebrate Bobblehead Day? Well, hashtag bobblehead. Are you feeling like a bobblehead today? Go on social media, hashtag bobblehead. How do you avoid the bobblehead? Well, you ramp up. Look, there's a way to ramp up this week. We talked yesterday about getting into the flow, about being grateful that it's Monday. But so often it's hard. When you come to this week and realistically, that couple of days after New Year's, some people work, some people don't. Some people, even if they work, they're not really working. There's not much getting accomplished because half the people are out. This week really sets you down, and it's very easy, especially if you work for yourself or you're in a job where you work from home, to get overwhelmed, to fill every minute very, very quickly. Look, if you really want to ramp up effectively, it sounds counterintuitive, but you have to allow extra time in between each event or appointment or task. And the reason you need that is you're probably, after 2 weeks of Christmas and New Year's, not quite in the groove. By giving yourself a little extra time and not filling every moment with a task, you give yourself to process and prepare for each task. If you do this throughout this week, by the time you get into next week, you will be more efficient than 80% of Americans. Because most Americans don't. They're not proactive, they're reactive. Don't be reactive. Schedule extra time in between each of your tasks, and you will find yourself accomplishing more of them than 80% of most Americans. Cup of Joe. We're going to talk. This leads us into setting goals. I read this book last year called The Miracle Equation. Great book by Hal Elrod. Hal Elrod is the author. It's called The Miracle Equation. He is the author of the of the original book, The Miracle Morning, co-author and founder of the Miracle Morning series of books based on different industries that are built around the Miracle Morning. His most recent one is The Miracle Morning for Teachers, written by Honore Corder. One of the things he talks about in this book is a mindset that I thought was very intriguing and kind of a paradigm shift for me. That when you set a goal, it's so easy to think that let's say I want to lose 50 pounds. How can I make sure that I'm going to lose that 50 pounds? Well, we talked yesterday about getting a why. Why do I want to lose 50 pounds? Do I want to lose 50 pounds because I want to look better in my clothes? Do I want to lose 50 pounds because I want to live long and see my granddaughter Zora get married? I would suggest when you get a why, you make it emotional. You give yourself a real reason that'll tug at your heartstrings and push you forward. Hal in this book talks about shifting your focus. Set the goal, but shift your focus to becoming the person that the goal achiever is. I mean, realistically, what does the guy who loses 50 pounds look like other than skinny? How does he act? Who is he? Have you ever met him? What is the guy? You want to double your income? What does that guy look like? What does he do? What time does he get up? What does he eat for dinner? What time does he go to bed? Does he drink? Does he drink heavily? Does he ever party? Answering these questions allows you to set your goal of achievement, but the purpose is to become the person who achieves the goal. It's the whole value of a goal is not necessarily the achievement of the goal, but who you become in the achieving, which sets you up to achieve the next goal. Maybe you don't achieve the goal, but by trying to become the person who does achieve the goal, you get a whole lot closer. So the next time you attempt, and yes, you might have to attempt a goal more than once, the next time you attempt, you will be successful because you'll be a whole lot closer to being that person. All right. I really suggest you do that. Reach out to me if you have any questions about that. If you'd like to know about, I believe this book is available on Amazon. If you'd like to talk about other books, my friend Honore Corder, who is a co-author of the Miracle Morning series with him, just wrote Miracle Morning for Educators and some other business success books. We're going to talk about some of these books later this week. But if you'd like to have a conversation about this, reach out to me. You know how to get a hold of me. Finally, we're going to hear from the sponsors that I love so much. Once again, when we get back, we're going to hear from Anessa Hunt-Jones, Campaign Director for the United Way of Lake and Sumter County. These people are doing some amazing work. Anessa herself is doing some amazing work with the United Way. You really have to see this. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in a minute.
'" Hello, I'm Mary Rhodes with the Mortgage Firm, your local mortgage lender. I've helped thousands of families achieve the dream of homeownership in Lake County, and I would love to help you. Our team has over 30 years of experience helping first-time homebuyers, veterans, move-up buyers, seasoned investors, and more. Please read our reviews and visit us at mortgagefirmpros.com.
50 West now pre-leasing 28,900 square feet of commercial, professional office space in Claremont. Conveniently located on Highway 50, less than 2 miles from the Turnpike. A first of its kind in the Southeast, this pristine building creates the perfect blend of nature and modern design. If you seek a high-level image that matches your business, reserve your space today. 50 West, unique, Quality, Class A. For more information on leasing, contact Ashley Punn at 407-403-4165. Karen Arlano at 407-948-0767. Or visit lease@50west.com.
Burgerum, located in the Epic Theater shopping plaza on Highway 27, is the premier destination for gourmet burgers. Using only the freshest ingredients, Burgerum offers a variety of burgers, salads, wings, and a whole lot more. Beef, chicken, lamb, fish, and even veggie. Burgerum has something for everyone, no matter your dietary preference. Burgerum, millions of possibilities, endless combinations.
Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors. And welcome back. Hey, I am so glad to be joined by my dear friend, Anessa Jones. Welcome, Anessa. Congratulations. Anessa, over the Christmas holiday, has become a newlywed. I'm so happy for her. Her husband is a great guy, and it's so nice to hear of people who finally get to bite that dream of life. She's so happy, and it's just so good to see that it's funny. You're a little relieved now that it's out of the way, aren't you?
Yes.
Back, settle into life.
Yep.
So I just wanted to make sure I said congratulations because she's
Thank
such
you.
a sweetie. She's been a real sweetheart. I tell you, Anessa's one of those people that I met through the chamber.
Mm-hmm.
Anessa was one of the first people to reach out to me and make me feel comfortable when I came into the chamber. Real sweetheart. Does some amazing work. Anessa is the campaign director for the United Way of Lake and Sumter counties. She is the South Lake County Chamber of Commerce Ambassador Committee President. Boy, that's a mouthful, I tell you. She also does quite a bit of other work in the county, altruistic things. She works with all sorts of women's programs and charitable foundations. And I wanted to bring her on to get an idea of what she's doing because I was very surprised to find out today that in my conversation with Anessa, even though I've known her for over a year, that the United Way is not necessarily one large homogeneous organization. They're separate organizations under one umbrella.
That's correct.
Tell us a little bit about the United Way and how that works, a little bit about their history.
Well, United Way came about because at one time in our country, insurance wasn't available. Homeowners insurance wasn't available. So they created something called a community chest. And people in the local community would raise these funds, and if something happened to a family, they were able to tap into that community chest and support the community through rebuilding of a barn or a home or helping a family, a widow. And that's how United Way came to be. It kind of started off with a widow, a rabbi, and a priest. And it's not a joke. It really did.
I was going to say, that sounds like the beginning of a joke, right?
I know. And that's
a rabbi, a widow, and a priest walk into a barn.
And really what it came to be is a widow in a situation came with all of the religious leaders in the community, and they built this community chest. That later defined and became United Way. And United Way, as you just said, it's not a corporation, which there's misnomers about who we are. Basically, we are under the name of United Way, but we represent our individual communities that we live and support in. So United Way of Lake and Sumter counties, all funds, and as campaign director, all funds are raised go right back into this community and also supports our operations in this area. So we have been on a diligent level to get those funds and operations back into the community so we can support the community.
So
in which
you're
we
totally
live.
self-supporting.
Yes.
As a local community,
Yes.
as a local organization.
So everything this community helps me to raise through campaigns, through sponsorships, through donations, helps to continue supporting programs, whether it's through our education, health programs, it could be through financial trainings, but these are the programs that we come back into the community to bring back into the
Well,
community.
you basically just mentioned three things. I'd like to deep dive into that for just a second. Is you're the campaign director. Okay, so I'd like you to give us an idea of what a campaign is, but you also said two other things, that it sounds like there are three different ways to participate financially.
Oh, there's many ways to participate. As campaign director, we have annual campaigns that I go in and we present what we've been doing in the community, and through those campaigns I'm able to raise funds to support our organization, but also to continue supporting grants and other funds that we put back into the community.
Who are you typically presenting those campaigns to?
It could be corporations, it could be private organizations. They allow us each year to come in and talk about what we're doing. The traditional campaign was always ran through payroll deductions, but how we're evolving is we're looking at organizations and saying, what do you want to do? And how do you want to put that back into community? And that could look differently for a different organization. That could be a sponsorship from that organization. That could be a volunteer piece, advocacy. So these are all the pieces that fall into that umbrella that I'm looking for and trying to connect with our leaders in the community and different organizations in the community so we can support that.
So let's backtrack a little bit. What is the overall purpose of the United Way in Lake County?
The overall purpose in Lake and Sumter
Sumter County, I'm sorry.
The overall purpose is to come together and look at what the needs are. And what we focus on is education, income, and health. But right now, our biggest initiative is ALICE. And who is ALICE? ALICE is Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed Individuals.
Slow that
It's a
one down on
mouthful.
me. to try me one more time, just slower.
Asset-
Understand, I'm a jarhead. Thick skull bones.
ALICE represents Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed Individuals. ALICE is your paycheck to paycheck, your working people. And what happens to
Not
ALICE?
quite the working poor, but close.
Close. And what happens if Alice is on her way to work, her tire blows out, but she also has a bill due that day to pay her electric bill? What happens to Alice at that point? She's still got to go to her job, right? So anyone can be Alice. That could happen to any of us where we've got to make a decision. We've got to repair the tire, but we also have an electric bill due. So what United Way does is we try to step in and help fill those gaps. We're not giving handouts to people. We take people through a vetting process to see how we can fill in little gaps for them, to assist, and that's all we're doing. And try to educate people through training and through other programs. And we're pairing up with our community college or technical schools to bring some of those trades through scholarships back into the community, because if we build a strong workforce, what does that make? It makes a stronger community, doesn't it? And a happier community. So those are some of the real big initiatives that we're focusing on. And we're doing that either through Tallahassee or through going up to the federal government and working with different organizations to see what we can do to help Alice here in Central Florida. And that is our primary focus here in Lake County, because we have a lot of good different programs here, especially in the South Lake area, but also through our health community services. We work with different health community services that we provide dental assistant programs. We provide scholarships so that individuals can get dental care. We're working with financial programs so that people can get their taxes done through our VITA program. And another area that's near and dear to me is through our master teacher program. So everybody talks about college and trade. What happens to the little guys? What happens to our little ones in that early education piece before they're entering into public school? How do we get those ready? And that's where our master teacher program is something that I'm very passionate about, because we need support and sponsorship so that she can go into those early preschool classrooms and start working with those teachers to get our kids ready for school.
Well, tell us what the Master Teacher Program is.
Master Teacher is where we have Michelle Dean, who is our Master Teacher. She goes out to different preschools to get them school ready. And what she does is she goes into that preschool, works with that director, works with a preschool class, and actually gets them prepared so that they can start learning. Because if we don't have our kids on reading level by 3rd grade, a lot of times they will drop out by middle school and high school. So we don't want to see that happen. So when she goes in, she's teaching communication skill sets, One of her favorite things, which I like, is you know how when you were a kid you had time out?
Mm-hmm.
She has what's called the cozy corner. So instead of putting a negative
Spin on it, yeah.
Yeah, she's putting a positive spin on it. Yeah. But she also talks to the teachers about how to set up a classroom so that kids are learning. How do I go shopping at Publix? How do I go to the bank? How do I make a deposit? And these are little preschool kids, but they're so young. Their brains are like, sponges. Also, communication, early learning reading skill sets. So these are things that we are really heavily focused on, and we need support for her program because there is a lack of that in our community. And the more we can focus on that early intervention, our chances of these kids staying in school and being able to get those scholarships and being able to go on to technical school or college, that's huge for us.
Where is most of the money for that program coming now?
Right now we do get some through our campaigns, but we still need more because the cost of setting up a classroom can range anywhere from $500 just to set the classroom up. That's not considering her time, her testing. That does not even filter into that. So if you're doing 10 of these per year, it gets kind of expensive. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So every support we can get, providing books, we're trying to look for sponsorship for books to be donated to these preschool classes because early reading, early intervention is huge. And also she's working with the children to learn how they can express themselves in a healthy manner. Because think about that. If I know how to say I'm angry, but not destructive, how important is that as they go through school? And they can communicate better as they get through
because
life.
Many of those children too are not seeing that at home.
No,
they're seeing just the opposite.
You're dealing with kids whose parents are working 2-3 jobs, and so their contact with an adult who's kind of overseeing them is when they go to that preschool. Right. So the more we can educate those preschool teachers, the stronger our kids will be when they're entering, and more confident when they're entering into the public school system.
This is fascinating. We're going to go to commercial break and hear from our sponsors again. And when we get back, we're going to talk about some of the other programs you guys are doing. Okay? We'll see you in a minute, guys. Don't go away.
Your CBD store Claremont provides a wide range of high-quality, full and broad-spectrum CBD products. Topical creams, tinctures, water solubles, edibles, and even CBD products for your pets. From soil to oil, your CBD store Claremont sources and provides third-party lab tests for all products so that you know exactly what you're getting. Stop by your CBD store Claremont today to speak with one of our knowledgeable staff members to find the right CBD product for you.
50 West, pre-leasing now in Claremont. A first-of-its-kind commercial development in the Southeast. Contact us today to reserve your spot in this historic development. 50 West, unique, quality, Class A. For more information on leasing, contact Ashley Punn at 407-403-4165. Karen Arlano at 407-948-0767. Or visit lease at 50.
Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors. And welcome back. We are still joined by Anessa Jones, with the campaign director for the United Way, teaching us all about some of the unique programs that they do. I think it's really cool that the funds that you raise here stay here.
Yep.
Again, that misnomer, there is a national organization, but it sounds like they are the ones that take care of advocacy in Washington and that sort of thing. You probably have a state organization, correct? Is there a state umbrella organization?
We do.
They take care of
We're like
Tallahassee.
a member. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But you talked about this master teacher program, and you talked about how she goes in and she sets up. She teaches teachers how to set up these classrooms to prepare these preschoolers for the next step. You said that she brings in the teachers too. You were just telling me on the break about a conference.
Yes, we do an annual conference where one of the things that we're trying to advocate for is trying to get more skill training to these preschool teachers. Because believe it or not, a lot of our preschool teachers don't even have high school diplomas or GED or any college training.
Yeah, they're not regulated the same way that teachers, standard
do have
teachers
to get
are.
certified.
Right.
They do have to go through certifications. And one of the things that we try to offer through this conference is we're trying to establish some credit points for them so they can actually keep their credentials. So they get to come to our conference once a year. And we host this midsummer time. And what happens is when they come into this conference, it's a half-a-day conference. They go through what I call little training courses where there are credentialed individuals who are teaching them certain aspects of the
breakout
learning.
sessions for clock hours sort of thing.
Yes. And so this is a great learning experience.
So
for
I'm
these
sure you could
individuals.
use sponsorships for
Yes,
that. These kinds of things are not
absolutely.
inexpensive,
No.
you know. This is a cool program, but I want to talk a little bit about some of the other things that you are doing that maybe affect the community on a wider basis. You'd referred to the VITA program, where where they can get their taxes done. Tell us a little bit about that.
Our VITA program has been around for quite some time, and we have worked with Goodwill to support or set up stations where individuals who are making under $65,000 can actually go into one of these stations and actually get their taxes done
Now,
for free.
I need to ask, is that individual as it's just me, or if I'm a couple?
That's
Do
a
you
good
know?
question. I think it's if you are a couple or if you're an individual, as long as the income
As long as the combined family income is less than $65,000.
correct. And what happens
Which is a fairly high number. That's more
Yes.
than we pay our teachers.
Yes. But believe it or not, it's a great way for you to get your taxes done for free. It's a great way for you to not have to pay out. Because a lot of times people are paying $200-$300 to get their taxes done, and they're having to still pay the government. And this is a great way to save yourself some money and get a return too.
You know, I got to tell you, this is such a great idea because I get, you know, this time of year, you see the television and the radio is filled with, come do your taxes here and we'll loan you the money. But those loans come at a very high cost. I mean, you're going to pay 35% on those loans, which means you're going to borrow. If your tax return is $5,000, they're going to lend you $3,000, and you're not really getting that back. You know, that's all you're getting. And so the ability for somebody to help them, and it all comes down to people are afraid to do it on their own. So having a program that helps people go through that they're not going to be, and they're not going to get that high pressure to lend them the money. I think it's absolutely, you know, it's different 30 years ago when you had to wait 4 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks for your tax return check to show up. Today, with the electronic deposits and all of that, they show up literally in weeks. I mean,
10 to 12 days sometimes.
10 to 12 days sometimes. And that's just the government processing, you know. So it just amazes me that you do something like, how does somebody apply for that? They have to go onto the website? Maybe Jay can bring up the website for us.
Yeah, you can go to our United Way website. There's information that you
I
can
think
click
this is
on.
it over. If you look over your shoulder here.
You can click on wherever there is something that shows about our VITA program, because it says free tax prep. It's a great way for people to click in and get more information of where their local area is to go for their VITA program. But that is something that our donation dollars help to support, because we take individuals and we train them for this period. They volunteer and they're trained. And the volunteer piece is another way that we are able to cut our overall cost for our organization. Volunteers is crucial for us because without volunteers we wouldn't be able to function. But when you go into our website, it gives you access to see a little bit more about our VITA program and tax prep information.
Do you guys provide other financial training for people?
We do.
Because it seems to me if
part
you're
of our partnership, we do try to work with financial advisors in the community to come in to some of our organizations like food pantries to do some training for individuals so that when they do get that tax return, they do know how to properly invest their funds. That is a scary thing for a lot of people. And a lot of people, they have desperate needs. So when that money comes in, we just want to kind of help them to educate them. And that's another piece that comes into under our finance. Is trying to educate them on what to do when that tax money comes in and what the proper process to do.
Another area somebody can donate time, can be a volunteer.
Absolutely. So again, this goes back to that volunteer, that advocacy, looking for individuals that can fit into that mold. Mm-hmm.
So we've talked about, it sounds like the United Way, it's not just, you talked about the community chest. You would imagine that that's the widow, the orphanage, that's where the guy whose barn burned down come together and put it back up. Unfortunately, we don't live in that society anymore. And the United Way has taken place, but it doesn't sound like it's only people like that anymore. It sounds like the United Way has a larger range. Am I reading that right? I mean, because it's $65,000 buy-in to be under $65,000. That affects
a greater.
That's
need.
not the poverty level. That's above the poverty level.
But that's the thing. A lot of people have that misnomer. Alice doesn't necessarily mean Alice is in poverty.
Right.
Alice is that working person that maybe she just missed the mark by a little bit and just falls into a situation. It could be a situation where a wife loses her husband and he's been the breadwinner for that family, and one incident can change a person's life.
It's funny that you say that because this week, Thursday, on Homefront, we're bringing in Brian Broadway, Find, Feed, and Restore. Yep. You're familiar with Brian.
I am. Brian is actually one of the individuals or his organizations that receives grants from the
So we're going to
Way.
talk about Brian. He has a kind of a cool program, but I was really flabbergasted in a conversation with him to find out that there are actually working teachers that are living in their cars.
Yeah.
And he said that he said that one of the biggest problems that they run into is with the working situation is particularly women with children. They'll be in a relationship and they're doing fine, but the male leaves, the other side of the relationship leaves and takes their income with them and abandons the kids. And suddenly you have somebody who's working, and their income is cut in half, but their lifestyle, you can't cut your lifestyle like overnight, and overnight their income is cut in half. And so it sounds like you're reaching all sorts of levels of the socioeconomic community.
Because we are trying to reach and work with organizations that are heavily involved. And because United Way has a broader spectrum, tentacles that can span out further than just our local community, it gives us that ability to take a $1 donation and turn it into $7. And that's a huge transition for us. One of the other areas that on programs and initiatives that we're really focused on is our Mission United. If you go to YouTube and look up United Way of Lake and Sumter counties, we've got a couple of videos that highlights things that we've done, testimonies for veterans, because that's another area that we don't want to forget is our veterans community and what is happening in that community. If you have a veteran who's coming out of service and he hasn't had his benefits given to him, but he doesn't know how to go about getting his benefits, a lot of times we have to see what we can do to help advocate with them to get them in contact with the right individuals. And that's a real heavy thing for a lot of veterans when they're coming out. Where do I go? How do I get my benefits? How do I get medical assistance? What do I do if I'm homeless?
It's funny that you say that because I'm a veteran. You
Yes.
talk about my Marine Corps pin. But there is also a mentality many times when you get out of the service that you are done. You are, you're proud of what you did. You're proud of your service, but you may not be proud of what you were called upon to do.
Yeah.
And so because what you saw was traumatic, what you experienced was traumatic, you just walk away. Mm-hmm. And it may not be for years till you realize you might need some help. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we tend to think of veterans as these guys from World War II and Korea, or these guys just coming back from Afghanistan and Iraq. But the truth is, Iraq and Afghanistan has been going on 17 years. Mm-hmm. If you think about it, those guys that were in the early years, they're now in their 40s and 50s. Mm-hmm. A good many of them. They were 25 when they started, and now they're 50. And they're having problems they never had before. Now they need some help. I know that I've been in that spot myself, and so. It's neat to hear that you have a program that helps these guys get there.
Or it could be a widow.
So how does the hardest thing with veterans is getting us to put down our pride. Yes. Okay, and say, I need help. The next step, though, is once we get to that place where we accept it, is we don't know how to start. And the system is so daunting. Mm-hmm. How do you get people to reach? How does a guy start? Typically a family member maybe knows of the widow or knows of the veteran. How do we direct them?
211 is the call center that we ask individuals to call into. And 211, if you say I'm a veteran, they put you at the top of the list.
That's 211?
211. And that's a call center that filters our calls for our county, and then they'll refer them back to us. And when they call 211, they say that I'm a veteran, these are my needs, and we provide a list of resources. Now, if those resources don't fit to their needs, they can also schedule an appointment to come into our offices, and then we can sit down with them and do a one-on-one screening with them to see what's really going on in their situation. If you go to our YouTube and look at our most recent veteran story, it was a gentleman who came to Florida and through that situation found himself in a homeless situation. And through organizations like Find, Feed, and Restore, we were able to get him assistance for housing. But through another partnership, we were also able to get a car donated for his family because they were working, they just didn't have proper transportation. So we have, again, you go back to a sense of pride, not just with the veterans, but we have a lot of individuals that are proud people who've worked all their lives, supported themselves, and they find themselves in a situation that they never asked to be in.
It's so hard to ask for help, especially when you've done everything the right way, the way you were supposed to.
Yes.
You followed the rules, you did what you were supposed to, and something happened, and now you're in this spot. And our society doesn't really teach the asking for help. I mean, we tend to be on two spectrums. You're either wildly independent or you're entitled, and nobody wants to be. Most people fall somewhere in between, right? And it's very, very hard because we don't teach people that there's no shame in asking for help, And sometimes that's the best way to help those around you.
Again, I can't stress enough, call 211. Another resource that we have that goes out into the community, and I push this heavily, is our Family Wise card because it gives you discounts on medications. And it's free to the community. It costs you nothing to use it. But also, if you have a pet, which we find with a lot of senior citizens, they will feed their animal before they feed themselves. But if you have a pet...
I've heard that before.
Yeah, and it's a true factor. But if you have a pet and your pet's prescription falls under human medication, they can also take that discount card to a traditional pharmacy and have it filled for your pet's prescription and reduce your costs. But to give you an example of how that works, we had a young lady who her father moved to the Central Florida area and waiting for his benefits to kick in here. During that time, he was diabetic, and a lot of people talk about diabetic medication being so expensive. He was being told it would be $900 for him to get his treatment, and there was no way she could have afforded that. She worked at a preschool here locally. And through the Family Wise card, they were able to get his medication reduced down to $100. So we went from $900 to $100. Last year, we saved close to $1 million in prescription pharmacy savings. And we are trying to hit that $1 million mark this year. So that is really something I'm very passionate about.
So United Way, like you said, I like the way you put it, has tentacles into a broad range of needs in the community. All the money comes back here. Where's the United Way going? I mean, what's on the horizon?
We are wanting so much to be a part of the community actively. We want so much for that community to be a part of who we are, and we want to partner with our community. We're not wanting to be in the back seat. We want to be in the front seat driving, and we want to lead the charge to make a difference in our community. And that's where we're going. And we are focusing on Alice, because Alice is who we all can be at any given point. You can be that person that's on the top, but one incident can change your life. And I myself was a product. I went through a divorce. My son was diagnosed with autism. But because of a local United Way, I was able to get him early intervention. So I truly believe I am not just a person that's working here with United Way. I'm a believer and I'm a product.
Is that how
United Way.
Is that how you started?
That was our
working
early
with them?
introduction to it. And later went on to finish my education in human services. So my whole passion is to service our population in our community. And I feel like if we can bring our community together with that same passion, think about how much change we can make.
You know, that's such a cool story, Anessa, because, you know, there was so much potential there for you not to have gone from where you were, you know, and just being another member of forgotten society, you know, living off the system, feeling sorry for themselves. United Way didn't get, as cheesy as it sounds, didn't give you a handout, they give you a hand up. You know, and now you're a leader in the community, and you know, remarried and you know, raising your son, and you know, you're not just helping you, but helping so many others. You know, that really is, I think, the purpose of organizations like United Way, and you know, without them, you might never have gotten to that point.
No. So everyone's donations, everyone's time invested in us is really crucial, because we are coming into a society where we're not always government supported on a lot of programs. And through those dollars, like I said, $1 turns into $7. So support us, you know, sponsorships, volunteerism, advocacy, all these play a huge role.
We have your Facebook page up here, and people can find out an awful lot about you, I'm sure, through the Facebook page. You know, these are to walk us through some of what we're looking here.
These are grant checks. These are thank yous to our community. We get a lot of support from different organizations and Seco Energy and other organizations. We put that up because we want our community to know through those fundings, through those community support, we're able to be public. We're able to get out, give food out into the community, Christmas carol to shut-ins. We here right in our community here in South Lake County have a lot of shut-ins that if we don't go in and bring food, they never get a chance to contact or meet a person. And a lot of our homebound individuals or individuals that we get a chance to go into and work with. And that is something that if you go to our Facebook page or go to our website, you're able to see different areas that we've worked in, as well as different families that we've worked with and supported and helped in the community.
This is your website up here. I would encourage people to go to this. What is this, United Way?
It is our United Way official website. On that, you can click to donate. You can click to volunteer. You can see what we're currently doing. If you want to be a part of the volunteer piece, contact us. We have an individual in our office, Rachel, who can assist in planning a volunteer piece for your company, your organization. Again, it's about being involved with the community. And we are there for our community to reach out to us at any given time.
All right, great. You know, it's been great having you with us,
Thank you,
Anessa.
Joe.
Always so much information. I could do this for 2 hours. I don't know if anybody would watch it for 2 hours, but I could do it for
Thank
2
you, Joe.
hours.
I appreciate being here.
I did want to encourage you. This is your camera over here. Please tell the audience where to go. I think Jay has some information to bring up on the screen for you.
I encourage everyone to go to our uwls.org website. Go there, look at what we're doing, look at the advocacy pieces, get involved. Your donations, again, $1 turns into $7. Please, please, please get involved. Feel free to reach out. We have information for all our staff online. Feel free to call us, contact us, or email us. You can also go to our Facebook page, like us on Facebook. Your community support is what keeps us going. And without your donations, without your community support, we can't be here to help support the community in the way that we've been doing.
Great. Look, hey everybody, I want to encourage you too. If you're not sure, you know, if you hear about something here on the show or in your community that you'd like to do, it doesn't hurt to go check them out. Take part in one event. Okay, go see one event. I know that I took part in Share Day this year, and I've done some other things around, and it just really kind of will let you know if they're your vibe. You might be surprised. I want to thank Anessa for joining us today and filling us in. We love to hear from the great organizations that we have here in Lake County. You know, if you know of somebody who should be a guest here on Joe Knows South Lake, please, 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 you know, the information is up. Reach out to us and let us know. We are starting a community calendar. If you are in an organization, if you have a business, an organization, work for a government entity that puts on any kind of events, anything at all going on, reach out to us at my email, onejoeknows@gmail.com. And we are starting a community calendar. We can promote you here on the station. We can get you here as a guest and maybe even some opportunities to live stream your event. Finally, as Anessa is using her greatness to bring out the greatness in others, there is greatness inside you. And I challenge you to use your greatness to bring out the greatness in others. Touch a life today. Change the world. It may change a life and you won't regret it. Well, this has been Joe. You know who I am. This is Joe Knows South Lake. It's been great to be with my friend. I will see you tomorrow, and I love you. Bye-bye. My name is Joe. 20 years ago, my wife and I moved to Lake County with our 4 young children and settled down. In that time, we've worked, worshiped, played, and raised our family. Today, I've met the people and discovered the businesses and organizations that make up a vibrant, dynamic community. Join us as we share with you what makes South Lake great. I'm Joe, and Joe Knows South Lake. Joe Knows South Lake would like to thank the following sponsors: